Hey, so what is your favorite card to put in your sideboard when you're playing 60 card formats and bring out to help even the field? Welcome to MTG Tuesday's Tips and Tricks as we talk about different ways to improve in Magic the Gathering. We've been talking about Standard recently, and we want to continue the talk of that, even though the world is going crazy right now in the Commander world of cards that have been banned in Commander. We're going to continue talking about Standard here for the time being. There might be a couple more things on this, but today we're going to talk about more the fact that there's a 60 card format. We're going to talk about your sideboard and what is a sideboard, what you should put in your sideboard, and things like that. And so in Magic the Gathering, in Standard, it is a 60 card form, which means you need a minimum of 60 cards in your deck. You can run more than that, actually. You can run 62, 65, 70. The thing is most people run 60 because of that's the minimum, and that helps you kind of get through your cards faster. Sometimes people run one or two more. Sometimes when certain cards are popular, a couple years ago, people were running a lot bigger decks because of a strategy with that. So you can do that if you would like, but keep the deck 60 card. But a lot of people, if you're just getting into Standard or whatever, you need to know if you're going to be playing in a normal format. Now, if you're just playing like best of one, like with people like but most of them it's best of three, you are going to be playing with needing a sideboard. In any of the 60 card formats, you need a sideboard, in Standard specifically. And the sideboard is 15 cards you have access to in between your matches so that you can add or take away cards. You're like, we'll take cards out and swap them out for better cards depending on your matchup and stuff like that. And so, like, depending on what deck you play, if you're running like into some creatures, so like I was going to go with, like, if you've got black in your deck and you're running cut down, but you realize that your opponent is running no creatures that cut down hits, you just swap it out for something better. Maybe in your main board you only run like one type of board wipe. Maybe in your sideboard you put in one or two other board wipes, because if you're playing certain decks, so like, you know, you're like, oh, I need this. Or maybe you run like some temporary lockdowns and your opponent's running absolutely no 2-mana creatures. Your sideboard helps you to kind of figure out, okay, I need to add or take away some of these cards. Maybe you need some more creatures on the board, a little bit faster, smaller creatures, so you put some of those in there. Maybe you need some counter spells to stop some of the big spells. You realize that they're playing some stuff out. You need like a disdainful stroke or negate, things like that. Maybe something you don't put in the main board. Some people even run, like, if you're running black duress in the sideboard, so you can get stuff out of their hands. And then, like, maybe you're playing against an all creature deck, so duress is not really that good. You just figure out, you can put 15 in there and it's hard, and a lot of times you don't just put 51 of, you put like 2 to 3. You may have like maybe 2 in your main board, like in your main deck, and then you put 2 extra just in case. You kind of just figure it out and rotate it in and out. You want to make sure after the end of each round, though, you put those back from your sideboard back into your main, especially if you're a tournament and you registered your deck and you said, this is the deck I'm playing. They're going to be very strict in making sure that those cards, the original 60 cards that you put in your deck, are in there. You can, again, put in and out of your sideboard. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think really, if you've said this is my 60 card deck and this is my sideboard, when you come to your first match, your 60 card deck needs to match what is on there, or you can get in trouble for that. I haven't gotten into the super professional, so I don't know exactly, but it is very important to make sure you do that. And it's very important, you know, and here's the thing. Every meta is different, so like everything where you play, so like where you're playing, if you're playing a deck and it's, oh, I'm playing against a bunch of tokens, where they're putting out artifacts, I need more artifact removal, maybe in a sideboard or something that gets rid of artifacts. So like if you've got green in your deck, maybe a Terra Sunder is really good to stop enchantments, things like that. Now the enchantments are out with coming out with Duskmourn. I think we might see some more of those, so you may need some enchantment removal. Pick your poison. To me, if you're running green, pick your poison is one of your best sideboards. It's a 1-mana green sorcery, and it says target player destroy, they have to choose like sacrifice target enchantment, artifact, or creature with flying. And so it hits 3 things. Typically you're using it to stop an enchantment, or you're using it to stop artifact things. Again, granted, the downside is it isn't instant, so they are going to get a little bit of value of it, but it can also slow it down. And so your sideboard is a lot of fun. It takes a minute to figure out. I'm right now in the middle of building bats, a mix of mono white bats with a few other cards. Aren't bats in there, but my sideboard will probably have a couple extra removal spells in it, definitely a board wipe or 2, and probably like a couple extra creatures that could be coming in or out depending on my matchups and what I'm playing and what's bad. I might even put duress on the side. Sorry, duress on the sideboard. You know, depending on like if your place has like a lot of people are getting stuff out early and fast. It just depends what you want. I'll probably put some temporary lockdowns in there because if I'm playing against some decks that running a lot of just 2-mana stuff, yeah, temporary lockdown can hurt them. Then I'm playing otters as well. My otters are just mostly just get them out and then cast some stuff like drawing cards and stuff like that to pump them up and hit them out. I'm not sure if I'm going to go the route of just straight prowess because if that's the case, then I'll just take the otters out or some of the otters out and only run like 1 or 2 of the otters. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with my sideboard. I've got a couple like board wipe things that are out there to help kind of keep the game a little bit slower or to slow down like the opponent. A few extra counter spells because it's like, okay, do I need a few more counter spells to help slow down things and put my stuff up and this and that. So we'll see what happens. I'm still learning how to play these decks and what I'm going to sideboard it. And that's the thing. The cool thing about it is as you play it, you can learn what to take in and what to take out. As you play the people you play against, you can figure that out as well. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, we'll see you next time.